Howdy, hackers, and welcome to another episode of... No, this is not Fairlight TV, so I really shouldn't do that. So this is Pontus Berg, sharing a bit of insight on how to use OBS and Zoom in the same context. I am using this for interviewing people via Zoom, so that's basically a remote interview. But I would like to be able to control how the screen looks, because I want the interviewer to be presented in a more, well, a bigger way, and I would like to be a bit smaller. And if I'm just recording Zoom, it has the aspect ratio and the configuration it has. I cannot control that. I cannot add any background. I cannot. It might be that because I have the cheap version of Zoom, it might be that you can do it in a more expensive version. But this is a standard version of Zoom, and I can still do this. And I'm not depending now on the ability for Zoom to record anything, because I'm not using anything that is recorded by Zoom in this. So let's change screens here. Hopefully you should now see my OBS setup as it's visible to me when I do my general recordings. And to be honest, there are additional complexity for me to actually record the video like this for you now. The talking head section you saw before, I used the virtual camera here, and then I imported that in the other instance of OBS. That's how I found I could use the portion of video here. The part that should be sort of bluish now, yeah. So the main part that I export to the other OBS. So virtual camera needs to run, but that's only for the purpose of this demonstration. You don't need to have the virtual camera running for anything. But what I do have as well is that I have my DSL camera. That's my big Canon camera. That's the one you see me taking. That is sort of taking the main picture of me now. And then I have my Zoom call up and running, where I have two participants. One is myself from my webcam, which is that one you see there. And then I have myself using my mobile phone. So my mobile phone is down here. And you will eventually see that in more detail. So anybody who's been using OBS for more than like 10 minutes would know the scenes and sources. So scene is sort of a set of sources, and then you give them a name. So if you have a number of standard configurations, like I want this screen with this background, and I would like these logos and this composition and these feeds, and I would take this microphone from that. That's what scenes are for. So you make up scenes from the different sources you would like to bring to that scene. And this talking head thing is sort of the standard. This is the first one you probably define. Taking a video of yourself, including the microphone and all of that, and potentially adding a background. But we are moving to this one, which is where it starts getting a bit interesting. So again, I will go through what you have in front of you. So on the lower right, that's me on the DSL camera. What you don't see is that I have a Zoom window up. I don't need to have it up, but it's there, and I'm running it. There are two participants in this video call. One is myself using a webcam, which I have just next to the DSL. So it's a Logitech Brio. That is sort of the home. And then I participate as a distant participant here. And that one is using my mobile phone. So this one is me talking into the mobile phone. This would be what it would look like if somebody was interviewed from remote, because this is the window they would be talking to. I'm just using my mobile phone, and that one is on mute, so it shouldn't interfere with any of the sounds. So Canon camera is my Canon camera, the DSL feed here, and then Windows Capture is a segment from the Zoom window, and I had somebody else participating before, so the main window is set up to be not exactly the proportion of the window that that my mobile is using. So you would see a bit of grayish here on the right. I would need to adjust that per person I interview. But that is the window capture. And what you also need to do is figure the sound, so you get sound correctly set up. And that's actually the part that took me the longest. I am inserting my microphone sound, my Elgato mic, the one I have in front of me, which you can actually see now because it's visible via the camera in the mobile phone, the kind of remote thing here. And yeah, so that one is taken directly into the video feed. But from the other party, so the remote participant, when you go into Zoom, and I cannot show you that because that is the Zoom window here. There is a little arrow up where there is a microphone, and the button basically says mute. But you're not pressing mute, you're pressing the options menu there. That's where you can select microphone, and I have selected the Elgato microphone, so the same feed, the same audio feed goes both to Zoom and also to the video that I'm recording with OBS. And then I have speaker, and here I select my headphones. So there is a jack on the back side of my microphone, and that's where I get my my headphones. And I would need to do that, because otherwise, if I play the sound on my system speaker, that would be picked up by the mic, and then you would have an eternal loop, and you really don't want to have that. So in the OBS here, I pick up Zoom sound here, which is this one, the lower of them. But since I have that on mute, you won't see anything or hear anything coming in there, and there is no no indication of sound coming in, because there is actually no sound coming in that way. But normally it would be me going via the microphone and the remote party coming in via the Zoom feed, which comes to my headphones and also to the feed, and they are muxed together, I guess, so it becomes one big audio feed out of them. Yeah, that is the part that took me the longest to actually kind of manage to get sound, rather than having two sounds or yeah, that was a real mess, I can tell you that. I do have the virtual camera, but you don't need that when you run this. It could be that you could run the virtual camera into Zoom, but then that would include the other party as well. So you would basically send back a feed of how the recorded result would look, so they would see themselves. So if you want to do that, I'm sure you can do that, or I'm sure you can do it, but it might not be the best way. That's why I prefer to have like the secondary camera, the additional webcam that broadcasts the picture of me, so that they can feel that there is an interaction and I'm actually participating in the call like normal. So from their perspective, it's a normal Zoom call. From my perspective, there is full flexibility of setting up OBS and record it to be as perfect as I would like to have it. So there you have it. That's how I use OBS and Zoom for remote calls and interviews. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye.